Howdy, hi. This is Dear Jeff Sports College Football Week 3 picks and predictions. We're looking at the best bets of the week. Let's get into the video. All right, first things first, got to recap the previous week's results. Overall, we go 6-6, bringing our season record to 22-18. We had some money added to the giveaway fund. For each losing pick I give out, I add $5. We had 6 losing picks, therefore we added $30. That brings the total fund in the giveaway fund to $90. That will be given away, not next week's video, but the following week's video is when we'll do that giveaway winner. So tune in, and you should be in the running to win some money. All right, so I'm going to recap these games real quick. Then we'll get on to the, 8 picks we have for week 3. First game we had, you can throw away the plus 3.5 with Ohio. They won on the money line, 17-10 at home against West Virginia. It started rough as West Virginia struck first, opening up a 7-0 lead. Then they didn't score for the entire rest of the game, at least a touchdown, that is. Ohio wins by a tutty. They absolutely dominate in total yards. Ohio total yards, 429. West Virginia total yards, just 250. On top of that, if you are a West Virginia fan, you lost your number 1 running back and your number 1 wide receiver. That is not going to bode well, considering you have Pitt in the backyard brawl on deck. I do not have a good feeling for West Virginia. Next game, it was UNLV at home against UCLA. We have to have a serious discussion about how bad this UCLA team is, because they might be disgustingly awful at football. Final score, UNLV 30. UCLA 23. This probably should have been way more. UNLV just stopped playing football in the second half of this game. Halftime score was 23-3. If we're looking at total yards this game, UCLA actually outgained them. The second half was brutal for UNLV. But when you dig yourself that big of a hole in the first half, UCLA cannot come back. UNLV wins by 7. Next game, Fresno State. They were at Oregon State, another team who might just be very, very bad at football. Oregon State loses this game. A crazy turn of events. There was a blocked punt. There was a pick 6 towards the end of this game. There's a bunch of wild stuff that actually took place. The official final score of this one, Fresno 36, Oregon State 0-2. Looking at total yards for this game, another weird one. Total yards for Oregon State, 530. Total yards for Fresno, 320. But it doesn't matter when you have a blocked punt and 2 interceptions thrown by your quarterback. You're probably not going to win that football game. So shout out to Fresno getting it done. Fresno 2-1. They got messed around in week 0 at Kansas. They then come back, win their next 2 games. And their next game is at home versus a SWAC team. So you could be looking at Fresno sitting 3-1 and then 4-1 when they go to Hawaii. That's going to be a good game on the Big Island. Sunday, September 21st. Next winner, Oklahoma, -5.5. Bryce Underwood, first road game. What does he do? He is not good. Early on, at least, this was disgustingly poor from the freshman. 9 of 24 from the field for 142 yards. They're lucky they had Justice Haynes break out a big run to start the third quarter. If not, this game would have been a blowout. Final score, 24-13. Oklahoma looks good. Their offense did struggle a bit. Mateer still throws the ball around too much. He had an interception today. He probably could have had 2 or 3 more if anyone in the Michigan defense could actually catch a pass. He did run the ball for 74 yards. I still don't really know how good this Oklahoma team is, just because this was Underwood's first road start. You kind of knew this was going to happen. But they get it done. They win by 11, and they move on to the next week. Next game we took, it was actually the Friday night game. Boise State, -28.5. That is the number I got it at. I think it opened at -27.5. But my bet slip read 28.5, so that's what I put down. Closed 33.5. This was never a game. Boise State opened up a 20-0 lead the end of the first. Final score, Boise 51. Eastern Washington 14. Still not really sure how good this Boise team is. They looked bad week 1. But then again, South Florida might just be the best football team in the country, so we'll have to see what ends up there. They have a bye week next week for Boise. Then they're at Air Force versus App State at Notre Dame. They have a tough schedule, so we'll see how they do, but they cover the 28.5. They get back on track. Shout out to Boise. Then finally, this one we added in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, hop in. This was another Friday night game. I saw this line get to 15.5 is what it closed at for James Madison. Ridiculous. The line was this large. They lose, and it was pretty close. 28-14 to Louisville. This was a tie game going into the fourth quarter. Then you saw Louisville score twice, once on a defensive return touchdown off of a fumble, and the other was a 78-yard rushing TD. So two massive plays that changed the outcome of this game. James Madison, tough loss, but they cover the number. This was always way too big of a number. I don't know why I didn't put this in the video. I probably should have. Then we get to the losers. UCLA, UNLV, we talked about. We won the UNLV spread bet. We lost the over. We think we missed it by a field goal. Kind of tough. It was looking really good. And then UNLV did nothing in the second half. UCLA did nothing in the first half. They just kind of flip-flopped roles. Now you get to the losers that I have not talked about. It would appear as though we have a common trend on this channel. If I give away two bets, so I take a spread and then I take a over or under, I get absolutely reamed in both of them. Kansas plus 5.5 on the road at Missouri and the under of 51.5. I think Kansas definitely stood a shot to win this game. I think they had like a 15, 16-point lead at one time. Did they have largest lead? I want to say they had like a 15-point lead. Ridiculous they lost this game. How do you give up 42 points on the road to Mizzou? They were up 21-6 after the first quarter. They then scored one touchdown in the next 3 quarters of football. Not good. Really, really, really not good. I'm still impressed with Jalen Daniels. I think he's good. He went 18 of 30 for 223, 2 touchdowns. And then he also, how many get in the ground? Where'd you get in there? You got 7. Damn, they only rushed the ball for 28 yards. Well, there's your problem. If you can't run the ball, you're not going to win any football games. So we lose the spread. We lose the under. We got cooked. Next game we lost, this was another Friday game. I wanted a decent amount of Friday action just because there was really nothing else going on. We had Maryland minus 16.5. They only win by 11 against Northern Illinois. This one was rough. Didn't really play that well, to be honest with you. They went 4 of 12 on third down. The main problem, Northern Illinois dominated time of possession here. 33 minutes for NIU. Their third and fourth down conversion rate was insane. They let them go 4 of 6 on fourth down. They also got outrushed 180 to 86 yards. Northern Illinois could not throw the ball, only 91 yards through the air. But that means nothing when they couldn't stop the run. It was one dude, Siobhan Wright, 27 rushing attempts for 90 yards. Every single play was like 2 yards, 3 yards, a 5-yard breakout. It's like, Jesus Lord, can we stop the run? And the answer was no. So they win the game, but only by 11. Then finally, this one was not really that rough. New Mexico minus 14, over 61.5. This really never stood a chance. New Mexico kind of hopped out to an early lead. I think it was 14-0 at one point in this game. They just couldn't extend it at all. Idaho State's good at staying around in football games and then just kind of tinkering out late. Really don't know what to say here. Their next road game, I was tempted to back New Mexico on the road at UCLA, so I did. So next week, we will be taking New Mexico, despite them not covering for us and also not hitting the over for us in this game. Final score, New Mexico 32, Idaho State 22. Just too many silly turnovers. Just not good. They got outgained in total yards by Idaho State. This is now twice Idaho State has outgained an opponent. They outgained UNLV week 0, but they lose the game. Tough day to be Idaho State. 0-3, but I feel like they've played well in the first 3 weeks. Next week they play Lincoln University Oaklanders. Who the hell is that? Who knows? All right, that's how we go 6-6. Let's get on to the picks for tomorrow. All right, first game we got, I'm going to take Wake Forest at home plus 7.5 against NC State. ACC battle here as NC State heads into Winston-Salem. I think they're going to win. Wake Forest is probably not the better team, but NC State road game, they're not a easy place to play at. Give me Wake Forest. NC State 2-0 on the year. They beat ECU by 7 points at home. They then headed to... No, did they host Virginia? I think they hosted Virginia. They won the game. They covered. They won by 4 points. They have not covered the 7.5 number yet this season. This is their first road game of the season. Offenses looked solid. Their main problem is their defense. They've given up an average 463 yards allowed through 2 games. That is not ideal. Yes, Virginia is good. East Carolina, the committee is still out on. Don't really know if they're going to be a solid team or not. But giving up 463 yards, that is not good. They do struggle playing Wake Forest. Their last 8 meetings, they're 3-5 straight up against Wake Forest. So laying 7.5 points on the road, I think that's a bit much. Wake Forest 2-0. It's been against 2 bad teams, Kennesaw State and then West Carolina. They looked atrocious week 1. They only beat Kennesaw by 1 point, but they turned it around for week 2, beating Western Carolina by 32. They should be getting up for the first ACC game of the year. I'm assuming this home environment is going to be lit. It's pretty close when they play North Carolina State. I think laying a touchdown in a little bit is too much. Give me Wake Forest plus 7.5. Also, this game is on Thursday, so you know we had to bet the Thursday night action. All right, now we get to what I think is the what the fuck line of the day. Duke is catching 2.5 points on the road at Tulane. Why is Tulane a favorite here? Yes, Duke is coming off of a road loss, but come on. What are we doing? If Duke were to go into Tulane and lose, this would basically be their entire season down the drain. Now, yes, this is not an ACC conference game, but if you want any chance of doing something towards the end without winning the ACC championship, you have to win this game at Tulane. Duke, 1-1 on the year. They did just lose at home to the Fighting Illini by 26 points. Weirdly enough, though, they outgained the Illini by 30 yards. The main problem was they had 5 turnovers as a team. You cannot win a football game while having 5 turnovers. Total yards here, Illinois 419, Duke 438. That is awful. Awful. Tulane 2-0. They have wins against 2 bad football teams. Northwestern might be, are they the worst team in the Big Ten? Maybe. We'll see how Purdue looks. And then South Alabama, who's no good. Injury news, their main running back did not play last week at South Alabama. He's questionable for this game, and their tight end is also questionable. This is Retzlaff's first real test in a Tulane uniform. You might remember that name. He transferred from BYU. Questionable things went on, but we'll push that aside. Do I think he's good enough to beat a Duke team coming off of a loss at home who needs this win? I think not. Give me Duke plus 2.5. All right, another line that is absolutely insane to me. Give me Arizona State minus 13.5. How are they laying less than 2 touchdowns? Also, give me the over 57.5. Texas State heads into Tempe, take on what should be a pissed off Arizona Sun Devils team. Arizona State should absolutely blow them out of the water here. There is no reason they should not win this game by 21 points or more. Texas State 2-0. They've beaten Eastern Michigan, who just lost to Long Island in week 2. So I'm really not sure how good that Eastern Michigan team was. And UTSA by 7 points. That's a rivalry game. It was a road game. That's going to be a massive win for their program. I think this is a big letdown spot on the road. Here, their defense, they're the problem. If there were to poke holes in this Texas State team, they've given up 36 points to the Roadrunners in the previous week. Arizona State should have no problem putting a 40 burger on him here. Arizona State 1-1, coming off of a heartbreaking loss to Mississippi State. They gave up that 70-yard touchdown throw, middle of the field, no high safety. How are you not playing a deep safety with 30 seconds left when the only thing you cannot do is give up a deep ball? I don't know what kind of play calling that is, but I think they figure it out back in home. I like their team. They have the better athletes, they have better everything. Offense, defense, special teams, it doesn't matter. There is no reason you should not win this game by 20+. Give me the Sun Devils minus 13.5. Give me the over 57.5. All right, next game. This one hurts to even talk about, but I think you just have to do it. Kansas State, I'm going to take them on the road. Big 12, their second game of the season in Big 12 play because that week 0, They need this win. If they lose this, their season is legitimately over. They cannot start 0-2 in Big 12 play. That is the main reason why I'm taking this. Arizona, they're untested. They've played 2 bad teams, so we'll see what happens. Kansas, 1-2 on the year so far. They lost week 0, Iowa State, that was in Dublin. They barely beat North Dakota week 1, and then they lost to Army outright at home in week 2. Their defense has not looked good. Their offense has struggled. Avery Johnson does not look like half the quarterback he was last year, and apparently their locker room is ugly bugly. Like, it is not good times in there. I don't know what's going on with Chris Kleiman, but I trust him as a coach. He should be able to turn it around. If they don't win this game, no exaggeration, their season is done. You cannot start Big 12 play 0-2 against Iowa State and Arizona. That's not going to work out. They play Utah. You are not beating Utah if you're losing to Iowa State and Arizona. They have no chance they lose this game. Arizona, on the other hand, 2-0. They beat Hawaii and they beat Weber State by a bajillion points. They've looked good, but both of those teams are not good football teams. I think this is just going to come down to a quarterback battle between Avery Johnson and Fafita. I think they're both true juniors. They've been starting for a while. That's going to turn in the game. Who plays better? K-State or Arizona? Give me K-State. Next game, I'm going to back the Lobos once again. I think the key here is you cannot back them as a favorite. You have to take them as a dog. So we're going to try it again. Give me New Mexico plus 14.5 at UCLA. Why on earth is UCLA laying 2 touchdowns to anyone that is not an FCS school? New Mexico's not bad. They hung in there with Michigan. They beat an Idaho State team who's not awful. UCLA is disgusting at football. Give me the Lobos. New Mexico coming off of a 10-point home win against Idaho State. Week 1 of the season, they held Michigan to just 34 points. They lost the game by 17. This game is nowhere close to as difficult as Michigan. Michigan was a lit environment. They have the better athletes, and it was a tough road spot. UCLA is not a tough road spot. There's going to be nobody at this game. They have the coaching advantage. They might even have the better quarterback. Head coach Jason Eck, he's a winner. He won a lot down at the FCS level with Idaho. He brought up a bunch of transfers from the FCS level. Their QB is a veteran. His son plays middle linebacker. You're not going to find many flaws in this New Mexico team. UCLA, on the other hand, tons of flaws. All they have is flaws. They're 0-2. Week 1, they lost at home to Utah by 33 points. They then lost to UNLV by 7 points in week 2. Their offense looks horrible. They're one of the most penalized teams in college football. 17 penalties through 2 weeks for over 175 yards. Quarterback took a paycheck to be here. He doesn't care about football. This team sucks. I think they have mentally checked out, and it's not even the start of week 3. Give me the Lobos at plus 14.5. All right, next game we got. I think this is my favorite bet of the week. Texas Tech is currently only laying 23.5 to a Pac-2 Oregon State team who is egregiously bad at football. Texas Tech has dismantled their first 2 opponents. I'm not going to say Oregon State is the same level as the teams Texas Tech has played in the first 2 weeks, but I'm really not sure how much worse they are. I think they win this game by 40 plus. Oregon State 0-2. They lost to Cal week 1, Fresno State week 2, both at home, by the way. So this is their first true road game of the year, breaking in a new to the program, but not a new quarterback in Malik Murphy. Malik Murphy came from a Duke team who aired the ball out, just went pure air raid. Now their head coach is trying to run an NFL offense where he brings up multiple play calls to the line and then figures it out by looking at what their defense is. You're not going to figure it out against Texas Tech. Their defense is elite. You are not going to be able to run the ball, throw the ball, or do anything on offense. They are screwed. Texas Tech 2-0. Blowout wins against Arkansas Pine Bluff and Kent State, scoring 129 total points between the two. I clearly, Oregon State is a step up in competition, but how much? I really don't know. Texas Tech has the advantage in every single position on the field. They have the coaching staff. They have the home environment. They can name their number. Texas Tech minus 23.5. I would not be surprised if this thing closed at Texas Tech minus 30.5. So I think we are getting good value at 23.5. All right, final game here before I post the part 2. Unlike last week, there will actually be a part 2 in this video. I was just real busy with work. So part 2 will be out Tuesday night. Make sure you check in. This game, Minnesota on the road at Cal. Give me Cal plus 2.5 at home. For some reason, this is a Big Ten and ACC matchup that does not even feel legal to say, but here we are. Cal, I have been very impressed with so far. Their true freshman quarterback beat out the Ohio State transfer for the starting job. They are very good. Minnesota Golden Gophers, this is their first road game of the year. I do not trust PJ Fleck on the road. He is simply someone you do not want to back when he leaves Minnesota. Gophers 2-0 on the year, 13-point week 1 win against Buffalo, then a 66-point win against Northwestern State in week 2. You can throw that week 2 win out of the, no one cares if you beat Northwestern State. We're going to look deeper into the week 1 win against Buffalo. They outgained them by almost 300 yards, but they only won the game by 13. Their problem, they couldn't put the ball in the end zone. It is the same problem that plagues every single PJ Fleck team. They can't score. Does not matter how good your defense is. It doesn't matter the time of possession you dominate. If you cannot put the ball in the back of the end zone, you are not going to win. This Cal defense is very good, giving up just 252 total yards a game. They should be able to hold this offense. Cal, 2-0, first week win at Oregon State. True freshman quarterback Sagapulotele, I think I said that right. This dude is a freak. He throws the ball on an absolute rope to whatever target he needs to. Threw for 3 touchdowns against Oregon State. He did go 0 touchdowns and 1 interception against Texas Southern, but they were keeping that game as vanilla as possible. Ran the ball a ton. Didn't want to show anything for this Minnesota team, so I'm not really going to take that into consideration too much. I think they win this thing outright. Home game, first real home game that's not against Texas Southern. Big Ten opponent coming in. I think they get her done. Give me Cal plus 2.5. All right, that is going to do it for me in this video. There will be another video out Tuesday for the picks. If you would like to be entered for the giveaways, all you got to do is subscribe. All right, appreciate you guys watching and tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.